Welcome to the Middle School Cafe podcast, where we're serving up fresh strategies and solutions for ELA teachers just like you. Join us as we explore proven methods to bridge the achievement gap and help every student reach their full potential. Whether you're a veteran teacher or just starting out, grab a cup of coffee and a notepad and let's get started. Here's your host, Carolyn Wall.
Hello there and welcome. Summer is in full swing over here, and I am loving my lazy, slow start mornings where I don't have to be anywhere at any particular time. If you know me, you know I am not a morning person, so I love it when I can wake up without an alarm and just ease into my day. I'm so excited for today because I'm kicking off a brand new series focused on reading strategies for back to school. And we're starting with something I think is incredibly important, helping students find their reading identity. This topic is personal for me. I wasn't a reader as a kid. I didn't love reading. In fact, I actively disliked it for most of my childhood. And yet, books were always around me. I had access to them. I even had people in my life who loved to read. I wanted to be a reader, but for many reasons, I just never saw myself as a reader. Reading was something that only smart people did, and I didn't see myself as smart. As a teacher, I try to look back and think about what might have made a difference for me. I honestly believe that choice could have been the game changer for me. Instead, like many of you probably experienced too, I was handed a class novel and told, "We're all reading this book." And to be honest, some of those books that I was forced to read in middle school, I still hate. And yes, we're still teaching them, and I still hate them. That's a whole nother conversation. Those forced reading experiences left me with some really awful memories around reading, not just of the books, but of reading itself. I didn't actually discover that I actually liked reading until I was in college. And that is just wild to me because now I can't imagine my life without books, without stories. So, as I get ready to meet a new group of students this fall, I'm thinking not just about what I'll teach, but how I can help each student see themselves as a reader, especially the ones who don't right now. A lot of our students walk into our classrooms thinking they're bad at reading, or that reading is boring, or worse, that it's something other people do, not them. We've all had students who, during those first few days or even at Meet the Teacher, look us straight in the eye and proudly declare, "I hate reading." Some wear it like a badge of honor, like if they say it first, it justifies why they're not going to try or why they shouldn't be expected to participate in class reading activities. I truly believe that every student has the potential to enjoy reading, but I also know it's not as simple as handing them the right book. For some students, it's about more than just the text. It's about years of reading struggles, feeling behind, or believing reading isn't something they're good at. So, when I talk about helping students discover their reading identity, it's not just about book choice. It's about creating an environment where it's safe to try, where students can read without fear of being judged, and where we honor their reading past, whether it's positive or not, as a valid part of who they are. At the beginning of the year, I want students to know something loud and clear. Reading is personal. So instead of launching straight into a diagnostic test or assigning our first reading task, I take time to start building our classroom's reading culture. One thing you'll hear over and over as we go through this new series is that you have to start slow at the beginning so you can go fast later, meaning you have to set the foundation so you can build on it throughout the year. In the first few days of class, while we are still in the get to know you phase, I like to share something about my own reading life. Maybe I'll talk about a book I read over the summer or one I started but didn't finish. Sometimes I'll tell them about a fun indie bookstore I found on a road trip, or how I spent 45 minutes wandering around the store and still left empty-handed. Those little stories open the door to connection and conversations around reading. From there, I invite students into the conversation, not with a formal reading survey, but with an opportunity for students to enter the conversation. I ask casual, open-ended questions like, "Have you ever picked up a book just because the cover looked cool?" Or, "Would you rather read a graphic novel or a short story?" Or maybe, "What's something you've read recently?" Then, instead of a generic reading survey, I use a one-pager activity to kick off the year. It gives students a chance to be creative while showing me how they see themselves as readers. And I'm not looking for a list of favorite books or Lexile levels. I want to know what kinds of stories they gravitate towards, what their past experiences have been, and how they feel about reading right now. The one pager lets them tell their story their way, and it gives me a window into how I can help support them moving forward. It's also a low stress way for students to share their voice, which helps build our classroom's reading culture. This is also a great place to add a genre based activity. Talking about genre is a safe and relatable way to begin building that shared reading culture. Even students who claim they hate reading can usually name a type of story they enjoy. The goal here isn't to collect data, it's to open a door, to start building trust, and to send a clear message. In this classroom, your reading experience matters, and you're part of a reading community that we're going to grow together. If we want students to build or nurture their reading identity, we can't just talk about choice. We have to actually live it. That means making space for students to explore their interests, reflect on what they like, and experiment with different kinds of books. One of the simplest but powerful ways to support choice is to give students intentional time to explore books on purpose. I take my students to the school library regularly, and not just as a reward or a break. It's part of our routine. I tell them, this is your time to get curious. I want them to flip through pages, read back covers, talk to the library aide, and walk out with something that they are excited to read. I also love working with the library aide to set up theme displays in the library. We'll brainstorm collections like books that make you laugh, quick reads, or sports stories. These tables act as an invitation and help students who are overwhelmed by too many options find an entry point. Are my students required to finish every book they check out? No. Students can abandon a book anytime they want to, because finishing a book you're not interested in, there's nothing worse. We've all been there in our own reading lives, trudging through a book simply out of obligation. That doesn't grow readers, it pushes them further away. Real readers abandon books all the time. It's a real world reading skill, and it teaches students that their time and interests matter. But it's not just about choice, it's also about how we respond to struggle, because even when students want to read, it doesn't always come easily. Struggling with reading doesn't mean students aren't readers. It means they're human. Even experienced readers get stuck, lose focus, or need to reread. When I read aloud in class, I'll pause and say, wait, did anyone else zone out for a second? I need to reread that paragraph. Or if I stumble over a sentence, I laugh and go back and read it again. These aren't mistakes, they're invitations. They show students that real readers reread, get confused, and work through challenges. And when I do this in the moment, I'm modeling in real time how readers problem solve, without embarrassment, without apology. I also give them tools to work through tough spots, things like chunking the text using sticky notes to mark confusion, or checking in with a peer. When we normalize the struggle, students feel safe to try, even if they don't feel confident yet. Once students begin connecting with reading, the next step is helping them feel like they belong to something bigger, a reading culture that's visible and supported in your classroom. There are lots of ways to do this. I've shared ideas in blog posts and past episodes, but the main goal is always the same: to make reading feel normal, casual, and constant. Whether it's a What We're Reading wall, a genre tracker, or bookmarks that students update, these touches add up. They send the message that reading lives here, readers live here. So, as you head into the new school year, I want to encourage you to zoom out and think big picture. You're not just teaching reading skills, you're helping students build how they see themselves as readers. Some students will come in with a strong reading identity. Others will walk in convinced they hate reading, but every single one deserves the chance to connect with books in a way that feels real and personal. Thanks for spending some time with me today. As you think about heading back to school, I hope this episode gave you some inspiration to think about how you can help your students see themselves as readers. If you're looking for more ideas to support independent reading, build routines, or encourage reader confidence, be sure to check the show notes. I've linked to blog posts, previous episodes, and other resources to help you get started. Next time, we'll continue our reading strategy series with a closer look at independent reading and how to help students build their reading stamina. Until next time, thanks for joining me today. As a reminder, a new episode drops every first and third Tuesday, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Be sure to visit middleschoolcafe.com to find links to everything mentioned in today's show. Until next time.